hire one employee and literally you make her sit and then start sending the connections to people who are decision makers in your industry.
Hi, Ameya. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, my name is Edison. I believe I saw one of your videos on YouTube, and you bring a lot of value when it comes to information and how to start a call center. And I'm glad that I'm speaking to you right now because I'm actually starting my call center right now,
Okay.
and I wanted to get more insight of since I know you're familiar with the whole process and whatnot. I already saw the videos of the things, the tools that we need at the beginning, such as Soho, to gather our leads, organize, and things like that. Um, right now, we're in the process of since we already registered business here in the USA, we also registered the business in Central America.
Okay.
Um, right now, we're trying to start as a work from home, as virtual, right? And in order for us to work for that, we need the right cell phones. And trust and believe, I looked at a lot of a lot of companies for cell phones,
Right.
and I looked at Twilio, I looked at AirSpring, I looked at what's the other one that I was looking at? It was see, it was Natterbox. Um, it was a lot of providers that I was looking for a cell phone because right now, as I should mentioned before, we're starting from working from home, virtual, right? Now, in the country where I just registered, which is on in El Salvador, we have until June of this year. Typically, that country they don't let you work from home if you're a call center, but
Okay.
due to the pandemic, they're allowing people work from home. Now on June 2020, 21, which is this year in 2 months, they're gonna disband that. So we will need to create an on-site location.
All right.
Now before we jump into a lot of more details, I just wanted to know in your experience when it comes to cell phones, which one have you well obviously I would imagine you use cell phones and which cell phones will be best to and provide great quality when it comes to making phone calls and things like that.
Sure. So how much is, I mean, could you give me a little bit more details about like how many people will be you are starting your contact center with? How many number of people are there and what kind of
Yes,
operations is it?
right. So we have 11 agents right now, and the agents will eventually grow depending on the customers that we're gonna get, right? Um, Right now, the solutions that we're offering is customer care, sales, tech support, virtual assistant, and back-end support. So those are the five services that we're going to providing to the customers. Now, I would imagine for customer care and tech support, those two areas, I believe the customer will usually provide their own cell phone, their own software, just to maintain the client base, right? Their
Okay.
information, but when it comes to like sales, back end support, um, and virtual assistant, we need something that my company is able to use it uh, to do outbound calls for sales. For virtual assistant, it would be mostly like a virtual assistant, like a personal one-to-one contact, A to B contact to a consumer. Um, and then back end support will be for typically small businesses to to help them regarding their organizing the structure. But those are the five things that we're going to be offering for the customers.
Okay. Great. So yeah, for this type of operations, I will suggest you to use Twilio. That's a good soft phone.
That's
Uh,
like the prepaid, right? This is a prepaid cell phone. You use whatever you say you paid like a smaller you pay an amount and you use what you pay for, right?
exactly. Yes. Twilio. That's a good one. Twilio's the best part, which I really like, is I mean they have multiple features when you're using soft phones. But you specifically said that you will be offering sales and customer support services. So your
Right.
soft phone needs to be integrated with your CRM. So when you are making or your agents are making phone calls or when they're receiving phone calls, the customer's information should be, it should be easily accessible. So if
Right.
suddenly
Correct.
somebody calls, like from the US or Canada, your CRM will give all the information about the customer. The CRM will also be integrated with their LinkedIn profile or Facebook profile. So that will also give you complete information about the prospect when the agent is getting on a call. And the second thing that I will suggest you to go for is ticketing software called Zendex.
Sendex.
Zendex. So
Zendesk.
yes, Zendex is
Okay.
a good one. That's going to help you a lot for, especially for customer support. Not for the sales, but especially for the customer support is going to be really helpful. So if you are handling customer complaints and you want to make sure that in specific turnaround time, like in 24 hours, the query needs to be resolved. So if you're handling any technical support queries or customer queries, basically, Zendex will be really good one when you integrate it with your Twilio.
Okay. So Sendex is so what I'm from what I'm understanding is the Sendex is usually used to be like another CRM, just for follow-up customers who needs to follow up whenever an escalation comes in.
Yes, specifically, it is really good when customers want to raise the queries and they are about customer support or customer complaints. So if if you're handling such queries or customer complaints, in Zendex is good. If you are specifically limiting your services to sales, inbound and outbound sales, then you don't need
Hmm.
Zendex. Then you can simply go for any CRM, like Salesforce is the best one. The second one is Zoho. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Microsoft Dynamics.
right. Sorry to cut you off, but I'm actually testing Salesforce,
Okay.
and it's a pretty good CRM. Unfortunately, they give you like a 30-day free trial, right?
Right.
Um, but later on, I already talked to one of the agents, and in order for their CRM to be integrated for the cell phone, because they provided me another location, which is Natterbox. Natterbox is a company that provides the cell phones, but it's directly that is really well integrated with Salesforce. So, but in order for the CRM users that are going to be using for this, it's a little bit expensive because they're requiring like $75 per user a month.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a little pricey, right? It's compared to Soho and the other companies.
Yes.
Um, but I'm looking at my options at this moment. I want to see which one's beneficial because I know for what you pay is what you get, right?
Right.
So, so I wanted
Well,
to see like what is like the best solutions from your experience. I know you were just talking about right now. You were just spending about other things, right?
yeah, when you're selecting CRM, I will suggest you is that you need to make a list of features that you want to use. Like Salesforce is a really good CRM. It's one of my favorite, but I think Salesforce is specifically really good for the larger teams. So when you have a team of say like 100, 500 people, they're sitting in various different locations. Some of the sales teams, they are on the road, like they're doing on-field sales, direct sales, and you want to track a lot of things into one CRM. Then Salesforce comes into a picture. But when you are handling it for 10 or 11 or 15, 20 people, then you may not need so many features. So unnecessarily you will be incurring the cost for the features which you will not be using.
Right, right. Yeah, I was thinking about that because Salesforce is it's a phenomenal CRM from what my experience because I tried a lot of CRMs, like I just mentioned you, Soho. I tried Beatrix 24. Have you ever heard of it?
Which one?
Yeah. Beatrix 24.
That's another good one. Yes, Bitrix 24 is
Yeah.
also a good one. Yes.
Yeah, so I tried Beatrix 24, but the one that I like the most is Salesforce.
Yes.
But again, it comes with a handy price, right, per
Right.
user. But right now, I don't think something that is really that demanding because since we're a startup company, right? But as you mentioned, eventually, whenever you grow my business to a higher, larger scale, that is something that will be ideal for us to manage and easy as to manage when it comes to the client base, right?
Right.
Um, but in this starting phase, which one do you recommend, especially if I have 11 agents for the CRM? I know you recommended me for the soft ones, Twilio, right? Um, but Twilio, I don't, I didn't ask this question with Twilio, but Twilio has their own cell phone software that they use?
Yes, mostly any VoIP companies they give their own soft phones. If not, then there are a lot of soft phones which are easily available on Mac PCs or even Windows PCs because soft phone is just like an application. You call like you the easiest way is that Xlite is an soft phone application, and you just need to enter the details into it, like your SIP account and your mobile account details and everything, like VoIP details in that. And then Xlite is suitable for for the same purpose. So if you don't want to go for that, then Xlite is suitable. Otherwise, Twilio gives it. Ring Central is there. Ring Central, Ringio. There are various VoIP solutions which gives soft phones, and they're really affordable. They are good ones.
Okay, okay. Do you know which CRM is really well integrated with Twilio?
I think any CRM would do. Like Bitrix 24 is good, HubSpot is good, Zoho is good, Salesforce is good, and I'm sure that with the API integrations nowadays, any any applications you can integrate it with your CRM. If not, then you can easily integrate it with application called Zapier. Like you can zap both the applications together. Otherwise, they give you API keys, so you just need to enter those details, and it will be easily integrated. So it's very easy to use. So
Got it.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay. Yeah, yes, I was looking into that because I know that certain applications they're not really that they can merge together. So there are some other options in order for them to merge. I was looking at that, um, but um, the ones that you recommend as a startup is usually using for the soft phones is usually using Twilio, Ring Central, and so forth, right?
yes, yes. And I would suggest you is that when you are selecting any software, whether it is CRM or it is a soft phone or it is a customer ticketing software, you need to make a list of the features that okay, this is exactly what you need, and then basis on that you need to select the company which is providing those softwares. For example, like we discussed about the CRM, like there are many features given by Salesforce, and those features are not going to be useful for smaller teams. So there are many features you will not be using it in the beginning. What you will be requiring in the in any CRMs are basically the customizable fields. You should be able to customize any fields like their name, company name, or any other fields which your company uses it. So those should be customizable. You need to have workflows that you can set up. So for example, automatic workflows. You want to assign a particular case basis on particular condition to a supervisor or manager, or workflows will also help you to send some automated emails. Like if something happens, if any particular condition comes up, then this type of email needs to go to your internal team, or this type of email needs to go to your clients, or this type of email needs to go to your managers or decision makers. So there are so many workflows that you can set it up in CRM. And any CRM's basic versions, you call it like Zoho. Zoho comes with a standard version of around $15 to $20. It gives you option to go for the workflows. The same application you will be spending $75 in Salesforce. So it differs, the pricings and everything differs in every
Right.
CRM.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Awesome. I mean, yeah. One of the things that I was trying so many soft phones, so many CRMs. It was just like two. It was like, man, which one should I choose? Um, but getting your feedback on it and telling me that hey, you know what, for the cell phones, it's easier to start off with the Twilio or Ring Central and so forth, and then for the CRMs, it depends on the features that I want, right?
Exactly.
Um, all right, now, me, I got a question for you. When it comes to like reaching out your client and things like that, uh, I know we got to get all the information back in, discover the client first before we reach out to them, so we can make it a personal interaction with them. Usually, how long does it take for a client to say yes to you?
Okay, so you mean to say the first, you like the clients who will be giving you, who will be hiring employees from you. You mean to say those ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it does take around, it's we usually calculate it as a 180 days sales cycle. It's a proper sales cycle that we consider. There are around 6 to 7 phases in sales cycle. Sales cycle is basically it starts from prospecting, like you decide one particular geography and the industry. Then you make a list of all the potential leads in it. You can purchase the leads from some of the websites like Lead 411, DNB Hoover. So you can purchase the leads database from there. Once you have the leads database, then you actually put it into a CRM and start automations and workflows. Then the qualification is like you want to make sure that those clients are qualified as per the criteria set by your company. Then you send them proposal. They consider the proposal, and if it's a big company, they're going to take more time because there are multiple layer of decision makers like presidents, vice presidents, and
Yeah.
everything.
That's the
So
thing that I'm trying to understand. Like, there's always the gatekeeper, right? The one that lets you enter, and then the decision maker. Now, as your experience, which one do you think is the best person to reach out to when you're providing a call center service?
sorry, say that again. What is the question?
Yeah, which is the ideal person to reach out to? Because what I'm usually using right now is LinkedIn Sales Navigator, right? One of the great things with LinkedIn Sales Navigator is that it tells you your position, who you are, where your organization and the company, and things like that, right? Um, who is the ideal person to reach out to when I'm providing this service to them? Somebody
Excellent.
that it won't be go to it won't they'll get the email but they'll ignore it because they're not the decision maker, so they won't do anything about it, right? But who is the right person? Like, what is the right position to reach out to
Sure.
whenever you reach out?
Sure. So
How do you
yeah,
experience?
yeah. So for small call centers or startup companies, I suggest when you are filtering the data in Sales Navigator, you should select the maximum number of employees should be 50. Decide one specific geography. I would always select only the owners. Like when you put a job title in Sales Navigator, I would always select owners, presidents, vice presidents. That's it. So those are my potential prospects. I would not go to any managers or any, I mean, they can be influencers in the decision making, but they cannot decide anything. So usually I will
Exactly. They
not
just
go.
ignore it. They'll ignore that email, then they will like, oh, nothing happened.
Exactly. And then you asked me a very good question because I think this question has been asked, or relevant questions have been asked to me about Sales Navigator, how they use it, what they do it. Because I have around 11,000, 12,000 connections on LinkedIn. So one thing that I have noticed from people is when they want to get client or when they're doing client acquisition, if they're sending copy pasted message, like you draft one, two or three messages, and then randomly you're copy pasting on every single person's inbox. I have seen there are not going to be any good results out of it because people know that you're spamming their inboxes. So
Okay.
I usually never ever message anyone that I provide these very services and can we get on a call. Usually people usually they don't like it. So what I do is having first of all increasing the span of your connections, increasing that. Sales Navigator you can sales navigator. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, you were coming up. I heard increasing. What is the increase?
You need to increase the number of connections that you have. So I don't know how many connections you have it in LinkedIn. So
Gotcha. Okay. So okay.
LinkedIn gives you an opportunity to have, I think the maximum cap that they have is 30,000 connections. So if you have something around 500 connections or 1,000 connections or 200, that number
Mm-hmm.
is so little that you cannot expect really good outcome from it. So LinkedIn gives you an opportunity to have 30,000 connections with people. So I will suggest you that have one employee, hire one employee, and literally you make her sit and then start sending the connections to people who are decision makers in your industry. LinkedIn also has a limit of sending daily connection requests. I think it's 100 or 200 per day. So you need to be very sure about that, otherwise they will block your account. But make sure that have at least 100 to 200 connection requests sent out to people, and as increase your number of connections as much as possible. Like I have around 11,000 connections in my LinkedIn account.
11,000. Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yes, yes, and
And,
those. Yes.
I'm sorry, you can continue.
And those connections are not from the people who are entry level in the industry. Like I don't want to make it or use it as a Facebook. So I want to make sure that this 11,000 connections are from the industry that I can add value to them. Like they are my preferred industries like finance and healthcare. They are from the specific geographies like US, Europe, and Australia, and those are all decision makers of the companies, like small to medium sized companies, and those are all decision makers. So that's a very first thing.
Okay, gotcha. So basically, it's really important to have your preferred customers because that will determine the people that are trust to do business with you, right?
Correct.
Especially if the connections can be any randomly. It has to be somebody that you can bring value to.
Exactly.
Um, and then the connections has to be the ones that are basically the decision makers.
Right, right.
Okay, interesting.
So
Oh,
once you have the connections, then what you're going to do is, the very first thing that you need to avoid is, do not make any draft on Word file, which usually people do, and then they start copy pasting everyone that, okay, these are my services and this is what we do. So people anywhere where we start uh, copy pasting messages or spamming their inbox or start posting some selfish content, people usually don't entertain. So what I
yeah.
usually like is, you need to be very patient and you need to have minimum 6 months time in hand. Like if you want the client to come on board in 2 or 3 weeks, it's not going to happen because you're not selling some small value ticket product like a magazine or website. You want that client to come
Right.
on board, and that client is making a very crucial decision of his business to send some jobs to your office or offshore some jobs. So he's going to make very crucial decisions. So what you need to do is, this 11,000 people or 10, 15,000 connections what you have, they will be the first ones to see your content when you post something. So I will suggest you to start posting as much as content as you can. It should be a value added content, that how your company can help finance industry to bring the cost down in pandemic, how you can increase their efficiency, how you can make their operations 24 by 7. There are various things that you can do, how your employees can help their managers to solve so and so problem. So there are various topics that you can keep updating your blogs or videos or content.
Okay, interesting. So just basically post as soon as you have those connections, and as you build in those connections, just bring posting value that brings value to their business, right? That will
Exactly.
intrigue interest from them to reach out to you or to answer any emails that you have sent to them regarding, right?
Exactly. Yes, that is absolutely right.
Okay, interesting. And I don't know if you have a chance. Is there? I created my website already, and for the company that I have. If you if can you look at my website and see and get I would like to get a feedback from you regarding the website that I have.
Sure, sure.
So if you want, I don't know if I could. Yeah, I could right here. I'm gonna write down my website and then I would really appreciate it if you could just give me a great
Absolutely.
feedback of what you think about it and if
Certainly.
there's anything that better.
Oh, that's your company's name. I mean, you're wearing
Yeah,
that
exactly.
cap and
Uh-huh.
t-shirt. Yeah, it looks nice, huh? I was
You
going to
got it.
ask you. Yes, it looks beautiful. So it's nycommunications.com. Okay, that's a nice name, and even the website also looks presentable. It looks nice. So at the moment you are in the States, or where are you located?
Yeah, I'm in the States right now, but I have when I registered my business in El Salvador, which is the HQ where the operation is going to basically be mostly at.
Okay.
Um, I have a partner that it's over there and taking care of like the legal business sides right now, which should be finished by the end of this week.
Okay.
Um, but that's basically our operation side. New York is going to be mostly more focused for the marketing side.
Right. Right. I love it. I really like your website. It seems very presentable. It has all the information which is required. Um, I don't know, for better engagement, I think there is a live chat window seems to be missing. It should pop up because I keep getting a lot of
Mm,
inquiries when you have a live chat, and you can actually use Facebook chat, because how Facebook chat is going to help you, that's my recommendation to you, is
yeah.
because when people they come and they fill up their name and email address, or they give any details, you get the information about their Facebook page or Facebook profile. And then if you want to do advertisements in the future of your upcoming services or anything, Facebook gives an immense opportunity for all the people that they have visited your website and they have shown interest in your website. So you can run the ads specifically, like a video ads or any particular blog ads or any post, social media post, and only run those ads for those people. So they will always remember your company's name, and whenever they need your
Mm,
services, they will be contacting you.
gotcha. So always run the ads that the people that are already looking at your profile.
Yes, because ultimately, the main objective of your website should be that you should get leads from the website. You should have
Right.
every single person's name and email address collected for your database, and that database is extremely important. If they are not filling up the contact us form, or if they're not, giving some information when they leave your website, it's of no use. I mean, they're not going to, basically it's of no use. How will you go back to them? So
Okay.
that's the most important thing, I feel. But
Okay. Interesting.
apart from that, yes, I think everything seems to be good.
Okay. Thank you, man. I really appreciate your feedback, man. The only thing that I'm missing is a live chat. Now, with the
Yes.
live chat, are you familiar with the live chat?
So sorry, what is the
Yeah. Are
question?
you with the live chat? I guess I gotta partner up with my programmer and for him to create a live chat in a page. But that's the only thing that you would basically say that that's the right fit for the website, right? The
Yes.
live.
Yes, so you need to create your Facebook page if it's not created of your company, uh, and then Facebook page, it will help you to give that HTML code, and your developer or somebody can create that chat integration, Facebook chat integration. So anybody comes online on your website, they will fill up the information, and then you can start interacting. And apart from that, you get, their Facebook profiles information, and then start running the ads. So when they leave your website, um, for another 48 hours or 7 days, you can keep running the ads, so they will keep watching your services and they will always remember. So that will help you to convert that potential uh, lead into a actual client.
Right, right. Now I know I know I have my Instagram, I have my Facebook, I have my Twitter, I have my LinkedIn profile. Um, what do you recommend? Who handles that? Because I was looking into somebody that will handle the does the social media management, right? I was looking like an expertise that does, who manage all of that. Do you recommend hiring somebody like that, or do you recommend just doing it on your own?
Uh, well, it depends how much time you can spend on that, because if you are a businessman and if you are having so many things in your plate and if you cannot afford to spend that much time, because it requires a discipline, it requires a lot of efforts, it requires a lot of reading, writing, speaking in front of the camera, then it's not about just posting it randomly, but it requires a lot of keyword research, like which keywords are ranking and what exactly people are searching for. Then there are a lot of things when you are posting social media content, and then every social media platform, it has a different choice of content that you need to be posting. Like what goes on Instagram doesn't go on YouTube, and it doesn't go on LinkedIn at all, because LinkedIn is a professional platform. So I
Right.
would suggest you is that yes, you can hire somebody. I would also suggest you is that your industry influencers, like you can make a list of 4 or 5 people who comes from this industry. For example, let's say finance industry, and then you see this guy or this girl has a lot of followers. Then I would suggest you directly contact that person, and if he speaks about your company or she speaks about your company, uh, their followers are immediately going to see, and that's going to be a ready website traffic for your company. So that is something possible.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Um, um, Last but not least, I'm sorry, man. I know we have done. We logged in and we had a long conversation just now.
No, we can talk. Yeah,
But
that's fine.
I have a question when it comes to like breaking it down to like the payroll for the employees, because I know um, there's a structure when it comes to the call centers and the operation side, right? Um, Now, obviously, it's two different countries from where you are and from El Salvador, and the whether it works on dollars or the country's own money um, is different, and the payout is different. But how do you recommend paying out from the individuals, from the operation managers to below?
You mean to say their salaries, like the
Right,
weekly
exactly.
pays, weekly
Right.
payouts? Well, it depends on country to country. So I'm not too sure locally what are the standard wages we can say in your in Salvador. So I don't know exactly what are the wages. Like even in the case of Philippines and India also, the wages differs a lot. So I can talk about the pricing, how much pricing you should have when you are charging it to your potential clients. That I can say. But
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean that's another thing that I wanted to discuss with you about.
yes. So for contact center, from contact center point of view, you should be charging, which I have always said, that you should be charging around $10 to $12 for the uh, voice services. Like when your agent is actually speaking with a client, whether it's a sales call or whether it's a customer support or anything, it should be between $10 to $12. If it's a non-voice service, that means accounts reconciliation, data entry, data mining. So he's not interacting with the client, but he's just doing the back office work, the back end work. Then that should be
Right.
between $5 to $7. So
Okay, so $5 to $7 when it comes to like the back end support, right?
right, and then $10 to $12 for the voice.
For the voice services when it comes to like customer service, sales. How about tech support?
Well, it depends for tech support, like what kind of tech support it is, how complex this process is. But it would be close to $11 to $12. Like same for the voice agent, it would be same. But if
Okay.
it is a very complex process, then you can definitely add little more, because you will need you're going to have hard time in finding those type of tech support agents. So then you can increase the pricing.
Gotcha. Okay. And for like the virtual assistant, I know virtual assistants they range a lot of different prices. Would you be familiar with how much usually a virtual assistant will cost?
Virtual assistants, I mean, the pricings which I gave you, they are actually for the same, whether it's a physical contact center or for the virtual. Of course, there can be a scope of negotiation. So you can reduce the pricing and give the pricing advantage to the end customer if your operational cost is going down. So instead of having a physical contact center, if your operational cost is going say like $3 or $4, then you can pass on that advantage to the end client. So you can reduce pricing. So I will just say that it's a scope of negotiation what you will have.
Okay. Okay, interesting. All right. I mean,
If
now when it comes to like other like, I know we have there's different features such as SMS, WhatsApp, and things like that. Is that something that we would charge extra, or is something that would already include in this around price ranges?
It's much better when you give the total price to the customer because he's not considering like separate pricing for everything. Nowadays, when they are giving the work to contact center, they're already considering that the contact center will give 360-degree complete support that includes email, chat support, or we call it as omni-channel support. So it includes everything. So
So the 10 to 12, the voice services will basically include the omni-channel support, which is
exactly,
from all those guys.
exactly, yes.
Okay.
One thing before I miss out, because you said that you are also giving virtual assistant services and you are in the States. So one thing I will suggest you, if you haven't gone through it, one website is there called Arise. So you may want to check the company Arise.
How did spell that for me?
It's Arise. It's A as in Apple,
Mhm.
RISE. I think that's the spelling. Arise.
Okay. So what does the right do?
Arise, Arise basically brings the projects. It has connections with a lot of clients, and then it gives it to the contact centers who hire virtual agents. But those virtual agents you cannot hire from outside United States. They have to be onshore, like in the United States. So, in case if you're hiring employees in the states, and if you're looking for some immediate contracts, to quickly to start your revenue for the company, then I think you can consider Arise.
So Rise basically is a platform where the customers and providers come together only in the USA, but not offshore.
Not outside USA. Yes.
And this is something that not only for virtual assistant, but it will be for customer service, tech support, and all of that, right?
Yes, virtual agents. So if they have changed their policies recently, then I'm not too sure about that. But as far as I know, you can only hire agents in the United States, and their payouts are good. So you can consider them to immediately start your revenue.
Okay, okay. Nice, nice. Now I do want to get one feedback from you. I have a really close connection. I don't know if you heard the company T-Mobile.
What's the name?
T-Mobile, yeah,
T-Mobile.
telecommunication.
Yes, T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Well, one question would be, do they usually offshore accounts? Have you ever dealt with a T-Mobile account?
I have
And the
heard
other question,
Yeah, I have heard
uh,
about the service providers like service vendors who are also in India. T-Mobile is a big company, so
it is
yes, so they have the BPOs and contact centers, service providers in India as well. Yes.
because the reasons why I'm mentioning T-Mobile is because as what I just said right now, I have a really close relationship with a lot with people in the T-Mobile industry when it comes to the retail side,
Okay.
and a little bit about the back end support. So, which having a potential client that magnitude, which is a corporate location, which is pretty big location, uh, what should I expect if I were to reach out to the gatekeeper, or how should I like really approach this client, because this client is a massive client, right? And it's a really delicate topic, because if you approach it the right way, and the things that you need to have ready for them, what are the things that in your experience might be tell you, well, we will need to see how you run your things and things like that. So out of your experience having a big shark like as a client, what should I expect?
Well, if you're contacting the large companies, then usually I ask or I search it on LinkedIn as for the vendor management team. They call it as a vendor management team. That's a common term that they use. And when I'm contacting the company, I directly ask them that, who's your vendor management team or vendor empanelment team. So there are particular people or, particular team who is doing vendor empanelment. They have certain time frame, like, for many companies, they usually start vendor empanelment during the end of the year before the next financial year starts. So this is a time when they actually start receiving all the proposals, and then they start segregating or, the qualifying and contacting the vendors. So this is a way that you can actually do and send them proposal. However, I will suggest you is until you have at least 50 employees, 25
Yeah.
to 50 employees, I would not suggest to spend too much efforts on contacting large size companies unless you have very strong references and then something. Because these large companies, they have very stringent qualification criteria when it comes to vendor empanelment. They have criteria. Many times they need ISO certified vendors. Your experience needs to be minimum 5 to 7 years experience. You need to have multiple clients on board. There should be some case study that you have helped some of the companies and then how you actually it has been benefited. So there should be some names of satisfied clients. So they're going to ask you a lot of questions. So you need to be either prepared for that, or I will suggest you is focus on small and mid-sized companies.
Okay. Yeah, because Um, right now, that was the plan. Focus on the small, mid-sized company, grow from there, have enough, have a nice, have the ball rolling already, right? And then eventually, once the company grows slightly, then and we see potential that we could get a big shark, and then that would be somebody that Timo will consider, because, like I mentioned earlier, I have really tight connections with the company.
Right,
Uh, so it's I just wanted to have just a bigger picture of what should I expect and things like that. But I
right,
guess I'll cross the bridge when I already have the ball rolling with the small medium business, because then we'll have a portfolio of our customer base that we can show them that they're satisfied clients.
right, right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
awesome, awesome. Now, let me see. I mean, that's about it. To be quite honest with you, I mean, you have been really helpful, and thank you for your experience and your post into the industry. I know you probably have a lot of clients. You have phenomenal experience, and I do really appreciate taking your time to having a conversation with me.
Yeah, I'm most welcome. I'm really thank you that you have joined the channel now as a member as well, not only as a subscriber but even
And
as a member. So
we're,
anytime you have,
we're here
yeah,
to support each other.
yeah, anytime you have questions, feel free to share those questions with me. If you're okay, I will be also sharing the glimpse of this video to another subscribers
Yeah.
so people can watch that. They might come to your website as well and visit your company's website.
Awesome. Hey, if you could bring him on board, that'd be great. That'd be phenomenal. And we're here to help each other out.
I will definitely share that. I will ask my team to share this video and people can watch and come to your website as well.
Awesome, awesome, Ameya. Thank you for your help, and thank you for your
Most
time
welcome.
again.
Thank you. Thank you, Edison. Bye bye.
It is, right?
Yeah.
All right.